Mark. And before I talk about my candidacy, which is just a small part of what we're doing here today, I'd like to congratulate Pueblo on its new leadership, Mark Alvarado. This is really a new era for our city, and I'm hoping that my election to the City Council is going to be the start of everyone in the city being engaged with their municipal government and understanding what it means to have representation. And I am here to tell you, when I'm elected, my goal will be to share political power. Woo! Right? It's not about me controlling anything. I'm going to go into the community. I honor these young people who are here today, Isela Trujillo, Viviana Trujillo, and they were also the cheerleaders in my TV commercial, if any of you saw that. Yay. So it's so nice to have the young people looking out for me and supporting me, because it's vice versa, and I want to help them when I get into public office. And you know, Dolores Huerta, we know what she's done. Almost doesn't need introduction. But the first thing I want to say is I'm incredibly grateful for her support. And I am just as supportive of her. And the one thing that I will mention, Dolores, that I'm connected to you as, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, you spoke at Healthcare for All event in Los Angeles, at Los Angeles City Hall. And we turned it into a video. And so of all the things that you have done, labor justice, environmental justice, that you're working, trying to get everyone health care, children, people who don't have jobs, who need health care. I honor you for that particular movement that you're part of. And Dolores, I also want you to know that our campaign, the Cathy Murillo campaign, we did a lot of voter registration as part of our campaign. It's really easy just to go to high propensity voters, to go to the neighborhoods that always vote. That wasn't what we were about. We were about engaging everyone, and we will have a voter registration event every year. So I'm really proud of that. And I will have you come up, but we do want everyone to know that the ballots must be turned in by hand tomorrow to City Hall or to the drop-off center. So I want to get that out here before we get any more distracted on the ballot issue, because we're really here about getting out the vote. If anyone has their ballot tonight and wants to vote, you have until 5:30 just to go right into that building and do that. But you do have tomorrow as well. Will you help me welcome Dolores Huerta to Guerra Plaza, please?
Thank you, Cathy, and thank all of you for being here. We know that this is probably one of the most important moments that we have. I always like to say that Election Day, next to your birthday, is the most important day of your life, okay? Because we know that the people that get elected are the ones that are going to make the decisions for us. And the main thing that we have in today's world, we have to elect people that we trust, people that we know that are going to be there for us and not for themselves. And this is, of course, what Cathy has done, because she has really committed her entire life to try to help others. Working with the youth, which are the most vulnerable in our community, this is where she has put her time in. You know, part of the Boys and Girls Club, helping youth even have their own newspaper, right? She has done all of this work. And so we know that when we have somebody that is going to work for the community, that's the kind of a person that we need. Not somebody that's going to be working for those that really don't need any help, because they're good, they're comfortable, you know, they've got a good life. We've got to get somebody to work for those that are struggling, and those voices that need to be heard at the city council level. Those are the voices that we need. And of course, because of her work that she had done here with the television station, she knows what's going on in the community. So you're not going to elect somebody that's naive, that doesn't know what's going on, that doesn't know what's happening, because also as a reporter, she knew how to investigate and to find out, you know, where everything is at and how it's happening and who's doing it, right? And so it's really important. And, you know, we don't have this great Occupy Wall Street movement right now. But you know what? We've got to rev that up a little bit. How about occupying city council, okay? How about occupying city council? And I'm not talking about doing it out here on the lawn. I'm talking about doing it inside the chamber, right? We need to have the decision makers and those decision makers that are going to be making decisions for us. And that's why it's important to get Cathy elected. Now, we know this whole thing about the ballots is going to be important because you don't have like a kind of a regular election that people have to turn in their ballots. And there's one thing that I want to say to those that will hear our voice today, that if there is for some reason you could not bring your ballot down to City Hall, let me repeat that, City Hall, I think by 8 o'clock tomorrow night, right? Somebody in your family can bring it down, but you've got to assign them, and it's got to be somebody that lives in your household that can bring in your ballot. But those ballots are going to be so important because if they don't come in, Cathy doesn't win, right? So we just got to remember to don't take this lightly. We know that there's a lot of stuff that's going on in our community. Unfortunately, some of our people have been tainted by the hatred against Latinos, against immigrants, and that is not right. So we want to get somebody up there that's going to be fair, somebody that's going to be just, and somebody that's going to work hard, somebody that really cares not only about the community, but especially about the youth in our community. She was here with the strikers, the newspaper strikers, way back when, so she's not afraid of controversy, right? She's not afraid of controversy. She'll be there to stick her neck out when people need her help. And so we need somebody like that that's got courage, right? Somebody that has courage, somebody, que los tiene, you know what I mean? Somebody who's willing to stand up for people with, not only when, she's not one of those say, okay, I'm going to be with you, my friend, because you're okay right now and you're having a good time. But she's there to help the people that need help. And that's what we need, somebody out there that's willing to put herself out for people that need her support and be able to organize support for those in need. So we have, I guess, just tomorrow. So that means that we all have to get out there and man those telephones, right? Yeah. Be sure to be calling people. Que no se les olvide. Don't forget. You got to bring that ballot in. If for some reason you can't bring it in, somebody in your house can bring it in for you, but you've got to sign on the back of that ballot to make that happen. So anyway, I know we're looking forward to a victory, but as we know, it doesn't happen unless we work, right? Remember the last election with Jerry Brown? And the other lady, Meg, that was her name. Okay, no matter, she had so much money, but she didn't make it, right? Because people went out there door to door, and they made those telephone calls, and they brought the vote in. So that's what we have to do. And we know we still have time. We have time between now and tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So let's do it. Let's get Cathy into the city council. So I want to ask you to join me and a few vivas. I think that we're electing Cathy because we want justice, right? Right. We want justice for everyone in this area, not just for the selected few, but for everybody. So I'm going to say, Viva la Justicia. That means long live justice, and all of you shout a big old viva. Que viva la justicia! Viva! Que viva Cathy Murillo! Viva! Que viva Cesar Chavez! Viva! Can we do it? Can we go out there and do the work? We have 24 hours to go out there and do the work, maybe a little bit more, 28 hours maybe. What do we say? ¿Se puede o no se puede? Yes, that means it can be done, okay? Cathy Murillo supporters, go out there and get your relatives, your friends, your compadres, even some of your enemies. Get them out there and start working them and telling them, let's get the army out there. We have tomorrow to do it, so let's go out there and do it. And let's all do an organized hand clap, okay? Okay, let's do it. ¿Se puede o no se puede? Let's go. Sí se puede. 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 So, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. I can go open for questions of any of the press that's here. Thank you very much for coming out here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. We have Spanish language TV that wants to. Osiris?
Question for you is, Dolores, how important is it to have possibly the first Latino, Latina in the history of Santa Barbara as a city council elected representative, especially in this time when our police are facing increased criticism for the treatment of the immigrant community and a proposed gang injunction, which is 100% of the people on the list are Latinos. How important is this?
There's been Latinos, but not Latinas.
Latinos and Latinas.
Well, we know that a woman's perspective and a woman's voice is always important, right? we know that none of us would be here if it were not for women, right? Everybody came from the body of a woman, and we always know that a woman's perspective is very, very different. And when you have somebody that has lived in the community, that has worked in the community, nobody has to tell Cathy, okay, this is the way how it's happening out there. She knows because she's been there, and she has lived it, so to speak. And yes, we always need a wise Latina woman, right? We always need a wise Latina woman, and I know that her presence on the city council will be not only to stand up for the people out there, the Latino community, which often gets left behind, or as we know right now is being used as a scapegoat. But also to educate the other members of the city council, because unfortunately they have not often lived the life of immigrants in our community. They don't know what people go through. They don't understand. But having Cathy there, she can be not only a bridge, but she can be an educator to the rest of the city council. So that's why it's important for all of us to have her there. So anyway, let's get out there and work. Any question?
Tell it in Spanish. Okay. Remember Osiris, we're sending it to KPMR.
Well, I can